Hey guys, welcome back to Eight at the Table. Today we are having an amazing conversation about the hero complex. We also have a special guest, Coach Lee, and Coach Lee teaches women how to find a man who is financially successful. So you are going to see her and Rico do a lot of going back, and they have a great conversation about that. So stay tuned.
Do you find that it's when you guys mostly have women on the show. There's a couple guys that come through, but is it usually the ones with the women that gives you like the?
I don't even give a fuck about them. They can say whatever they want.
Like this?
9 times out of 10, their life is not good.
I'm trying to think like this. Who raised you?
There was
The
another.
thing is,
There was
I
a
can't
guy you
argue
didn't
with
like
people.
either.
Well, I'm not gonna say I can't. I can't find importance of an argument with someone who is living a facade.
Down bad, doing
You
bad,
just live in a
looking bad,
facade.
being bad.
Yeah.
Bank account bad.
Even if your
Attitude bad,
your
energy bad, everything bad.
Some of them got good bank accounts, but their life is still bad.
I don't know. I find that the people that pretend they have the bank accounts really don't.
No, those two,
really
those
don't.
do too, of course. But
really don't.
the ones that even do have the bank accounts, they got everything. But I mean, that's the only thing that they got.
Right.
And so now they're trying to get everything else, but they can't. So when you have a little bit of everything, then I'm like, oh, all right, cool.
Right,
You
right,
got it. Like you
right,
got some of this, you got some of that, you got some of
Right.
this.
Got it.
You're doing good.
Got it.
Because look, there's nothing worse than being a. Look, let me put this in perspective. If a dude was rich but couldn't get women, isn't that terrible?
That's pretty tragic.
Right. All right. So
Yeah, that's a sad story.
if a woman was rich but couldn't get a man, isn't that would be terrible?
That's not a thing.
Yeah. I mean,
You know
well,
what I mean? That's not a thing. There
well-
is a hood booger somewhere waiting to be plucked.
and there's always a prostitute, right?
This is true, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing because the prostitute won't even fake it like she really fucks with you like that.
Wait, time out.
Just during that time.
Wait,
But
time out.
after it's
Hold
like, don't call me, click. But the dude, he's like,
How's she gonna make her
"Anytime
money
you
if she do that?"
call," I'm answering, how come running?
No, the prostitute.
Anytime.
Let me tell you something about prostitutes. They actually love you more than your wife.
I mean,
Well,
they
it's the facade.
fake it
But
better than your wife.
They can do it forever as long as that check keeps coming.
I can't
work
imagine
with
them
a lot of
saying like,
women
"Don't
now.
call
Wait,
me."
Rico.
Wait, you're gonna say you work with a lot?
I work with a lot of women, and I have, prior to a year or two ago, I had a lot of hoes, and
a lot of hoes.
You have a lot of
bitches are
hoes.
tired. Not me personally, but in the roster of my students, I had a lot of hoes, a lot of sugar babies, a lot of ladies that were,
Escorts.
ladies of the evening, and ladies of the sunset. And
Ladies of the sunset
they-
and sunrise.
they tend to only be able to last like a year max. Once it gets beyond that, they're like, I actually fucking hate you, and I know enough to go get it from somewhere else. Like, I'm not dealing with you. Because rich men come with a lot of baggage. They're like emotionally fucked up.
Well, that's why they're rich.
They are.
Because
That's exactly why.
They can't get it anywhere. I always
They're
say this.
emotionless.
Yeah. Well, no,
Nothing
not that.
phases them.
Or maybe they
until
have
they're
too much
hurt.
emotions.
I'm about to say,
They
wait,
don't
that's
have-
cap.
Until
Yeah.
they're hurt.
It's
And then
like
it's like, the dramatics is real.
But that's because if
I've
you
had
take
students
a kid,
be flown out to meet with their dude that they've been seeing for 6 months or more. And this motherfucker canceled their flight back home, left her with whatever she came with. She was stuck in Vegas.
that's
Like,
her fault. She should have been prepared.
no flight home. No. First of all, how you seeing him for 6 months? You ain't got no money, bitch. Secondly, like, how you go anywhere without your own like safety net? You know what I mean? That's
So
crazy.
you mean like stuck?
stuck?
She ain't had money
like,
to pay to get home.
Like she was in the group chat. Like, can anybody?
100, 100, and 100 and 100. I need 400.
We put it together for her. We got her home. We got her home.
That's terrible.
We got her.
You should have like, no, sit there and think of, you know how
know.
like when kids used to go to jail and your mom be like, I ain't bailing you out. Think about your decisions in there. I'm like, yo, ma'am, think about your decisions.
You should have
think
told
about
me
it.
you were going. That's what I did tell her.
At
Like, you
gate
should have told
49.
me. I
Please
would have.
send the funds.
Please send the funds.
For real. Pass around that collection plate while you sitting there waiting.
You gotta also think about it too. We're talking about, because we have to when we're talking about ladies of the evening. We're only talking about America. When you start going abroad,
Oh yeah, no, they do it better.
they do. It's like an art.
Yeah,
for
it
them.
is. It's an actual job.
I actually think
They're
that
really good at it.
it's a beautiful thing, you know, because it's like, wow, you can do this. So
But they're
you're
also
talented.
respected in a different way. They're not looked at as like, you dirty slut, hoe, bitch. They're like, you're amazing and you're beautiful, and I want to take you and show you off to amazing places.
But why do you think that is?
And I want to put you on my arm because they take care of themselves differently
Or
and they pretend better.
Do they, Rico?
They take care of the men
Rico?
differently.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They
Yeah.
perform better.
Yeah, perform.
Yeah.
What? It's act. It's all act.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, it's always the stage. So, sometimes the stage is soft and cushy, comfy bed. Sometimes the stage is,
Nah.
getting up and arm holding through some event. But
that's-
they just do it better. They tend to be more eloquent in their craft.
I think that they're just more natural to.
The city girls are over here. They ruined it.
Well, the city girls want to be like niggas,
That's what I'm
and
saying. They ruined
yeah,
it.
the other girls
Now
over
women
there,
are operating in like masculine energy, trying to get money.
and it's not
That
gonna work.
requires femininity in order to.
But the thing is this. Here's the thing. A guy isn't stupid. Whether he's paying for it or not, he could tell a woman who's faking, right? And faking
True.
their femininity and faking
Yeah.
their women essence,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So when the guy is paying for it overseas, let's just say that woman is a woman with his money or without or with Joe's money. It doesn't matter. The girl is only acting as if because of the money. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
the girls
Yeah.
over there are gonna be a woman regardless. She's gonna be that the woman that the way she treats that guy who's paying her for that night is the same way that she treats her boyfriend that she goes home to.
Right. But they also operate differently. Like once I give you the funds, what you do with it makes me give you more. And the women here, they tend to be on that Atlanta see me vibe, right? Like see me, show out. So they're going into Dior with money that they really should be using for investing in their business or investing in something. Like, sis, you're a hairstylist. You're going to die behind a chair if you don't figure this shit out. And they're just like, it's okay. I got bookings tomorrow. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're going to stand for 6 hours for $300 or
I'ma make it
suck
back.
for $300. And they're like,
Well, they're like
go to
both.
Dior.
Yeah, they do
you know
both.
what I mean? Yeah. They're like, let me collect this check. I got a booking tomorrow. And then I'm going to Chanel.
She said there's 24 hours
I'm
in a
getting
day.
socks because that's all I can afford without my dude.
But the crazy
I'm
thing
getting
is,
socks.
and
from
that's,
Chanel.
I think, all right, so I was talking to this one dude, and he's telling me about all the different women in this specific area that he's paid for, right? He's like, I fucked them all, right? He's like, but the craziest thing is they make a lot of money here. They can leave with like $5,000 in the weekend, just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then they go home, and then they go and they give their money to their families and to their boyfriends. And then he's like, the
They
craziest
got to
thing.
do it all again the next
Yeah,
week.
he's like, they make more money than most people, but they're always broke.
They're always broke.
Right? And I'm like, wow, that's really crazy. But again, kind of to piggyback of what you're saying is what they do with the money. Now, for me, if I was a person who is paying for ladies of the evening and sunrise and sunsets, right? It would
Salacious
if I
sunsets.
start seeing you, if I will feel some type of way if I start seeing you pop up with new Dior's.
Yeah, that's why they lose it so fast. That's
Yeah, 'cause
why
I'm
they
like-
lose it as quick as they get it, because the men are like, I want to return on my investment. And that's not, you're not doing it for me. Like, you're not showing up in a way that makes me feel like I want to give you more. I'm going to bare minimum you. And to you, that's $3,000. To me, that's a bottle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Not
I'm going to give
even.
you this bottle's worth of money to come do splits on me and swing from the ceiling fan and shit. And then I'll see you again next week, because I'm going to buy 5 more bottles in between now and next week. I don't care about this petty cash.
Yeah.
That's why my students win at a different level. That's why they're getting, I just had a testimonial, 3.5 carat diamond ring, engaged, let her quit her job, which I was opposed to, but that's her business. She has a son, 10-year-old son, flying this chick around the world, built her a brand new house from the ground up, brand new cars, everything, dripping her down. Why? Because the reciprocity is there, number one. So it's like real relationship versus like, I have to keep paying $3,000 for this chick that pretends that she likes me, that I don't even really like either, but I like showing her off and I like the weird shit she does to me. So, you know, rich men like
crazy.
weird shit. So I like all of that, but you know, there's no reciprocity here. I don't feel good about this chick. Once she's gone, I don't miss her. There's nothing there. So my students, they figure out the love language and that's it. That's all you got to do.
So
That's what the Europeans do. They're like, I'm going to show up in the way you need me to show up outside of just my body and my beauty. That's why their shit lasts. They could have a sugar daddy for 10 years.
yeah,
And he will keep paying her. He could have 5 chicks under her. He's going to make sure she got her 10 grand, you know, every week or whatever.
That's not all guys though.
No, it's not.
Because I think that some guys do find enjoyment also in giving her money and she's going out and spending it and upping her style and okay, yeah, I'm up in this bitch.
I think so, but it's only temporary. It doesn't last long.
Okay.
There's a couple unicorns. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that
that's
sneak
probably
through.
true that it
But
doesn't
it just
last
doesn't
long.
last long. There's no longevity in it. So you got to like enjoy these bags while you can, because next week they'll be on the floor of 42C. And, you know, you'll be in your apartment with no closet for your Chanel bags. And you got 10 Chanels and a Birkin, and them shits are on the floor. Like,
They are.
you know what I mean? You don't
Or
even
on
have
the-
a shoe
or
closet.
on the real.
You don't even have a shoe closet.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
you're putting your shoes under your
She
bed.
is selling one bag at a time.
Dare you put a
that monthly
$5,000
rent.
pair of shoes under your bed? The audacity.
If she even has under the bed space.
Most of them don't have under the bed space. Mattress on the floor ass. Women here tend to fumble the bag often with the fellas because of their masculinity. And that arises when when they feel like money comes in the form of power, right? You know how they say like money, power, respect is the key to life. Women are not supposed to operate in that space. And so when we start to get money, we start to feel power because like, ooh, I'm getting him to give me this. And really it's not. It's really him being like, I want to give you this. You know what I mean? And so women tend to lose their feminine energy. The more a man provides for them, the more dominant they become, the more aggressive they become, the more demanding they become, the more I want it and I want it now. And it ain't even your money, girl. Like this is not
Yeah.
This is
They're
not
I feel like
that.
maybe you are specialized in this, right? Like, you know?
I know a little
But
something.
I feel the complete opposite. I feel like girls who are getting money from guys or, you know, their partner or whatever become more feminine because
When they're protected and it's a relationship, yes. But when they are sugar babies or dealing with, you know, multiple dudes at one time,
sugar babies too.
yeah.
I think
I mean,
those are the most feminine, no?
No. They
Entitled.
play it, but then they start to get that spoiled. I mean, if you literally think about it, their goal is to be spoiled. But when you think about milk when it's spoiled, is that ever good? Like, no.
No.
Nothing that's spoiled is good,
Including her.
including women. And so
Sugar babies.
once it moves into that I'm spoiled thing, the sense of entitlement kicks in. They forget the reciprocity part that worked in the beginning to get them that far. And then these guys slowly start to slip away. There's always somebody that will do it cheaper, faster, longer, for less money. And that's the part that women fail at
That
all the
look better,
time
too.
is and look better, right? Got a better body. There's always somebody more beautiful, more whatever.
And cheaper.
But
beautiful and cheaper is
Cheaper,
like
faster, longer for less money is a win. You know what I mean?
me
And
up.
and so women tend to like, first of all, everybody has that underlying city girl thing. Even if we keep it dormant, it's there. And and it is.
Explain.
Okay, so like, you know how city girls made it like, give me money, fly me out, flew me out. You know what I mean? These niggas, right? Every woman has a small piece of that. It usually comes out with our homegirls when we have a couple drinks and then, you know, we in private. But that small dormant piece surfaces quickly when you start to get spoiled too fast. I even almost fumbled the bag with my man who I've been with for 5 years in the beginning. I almost fumbled that bag. I told you guys that last time I was here. I almost fumbled that.
Got prideful?
Because I got prideful and I was like, give me that. Give me that. And he was just like, I was asking for like, can you send me some lunch money? Can you send me some shit I didn't even need just because I was getting it and it was like feeding my own ego monster, which Everybody has, but men are the ones that carry an ego monster that actually requires to be fed. Ours doesn't. Ours is fed in a very different way. It's not an ego monster. I let that get to me, and I was like, every time I would ask him for $20, he sent me $500. I'm like, oh, I need $20 tomorrow too, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow.
I'm a little. It's like, okay, I understand when you say like it lies dormant in like every girl, and I feel like, okay, yes, when we get around our girls, it's just like, oh yeah, you like it when he has it, right? And then when he's willing to do it, but then when he's actually gonna do it, it's, I don't know, for me, it's kind of like, oh wait, I don't know why I'm like that.
That's just an issue with receiving.
I do have an issue with receiving.
I was just
and
about
I
to
feel
ask.
like, and it's maybe because I am also pretty alpha myself and dominant. So it's just like,
That comes from something
like,
too.
I'm glad that you're willing to give me, but like, don't really give it to me though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't. My
need to
friend
work on
actually
that.
said that too.
That's sick. We need to work on that.
My friend was like, "Girl, you better take it." I'm like,
Because there's not a check for that. That's not one of those sicknesses that you actually get paid for. There's no compensation for that.
There's
need
no
to work on that.
compensation for that.
Yeah, we need to work on that because the issue with receiving starts back like as you're growing up as a little girl. Like either nobody gave you the things that you wanted, or they overachieved in giving to suppress other things that were negative, that didn't make you feel good. And so, without getting all into your history, like you really have to evaluate, like, why do I have a problem with receiving, especially from men? Like if we go out and I'm like, girl, I got it, you're going to let me buy the drinks or no?
"No, I will."
You will, right?
Yeah.
So, and then like the check comes and I'm like, no, girl, I got it. This one's on me. Are you going to let me take the check?
That's your second time or your first time?
So we're out and we're having a good time. Drinks come. I'm like, girl, I got it. You want a drink? Yeah, sure. I get you a drink. You're going to let me buy it. Then we order some appetizers and some dinner and the check comes. I'm like, girl, I got it.
Okay, then no, then I'm gonna have that.
You're going to take the check?
Yeah.
You're not going to just receive me.
Well, then
buying
you
it?
just got the drinks though, and I let that happen.
That's a problem with receiving. Because when somebody is offering you something with nothing expected in return, we tend to bring that old history of like, ooh, I owe you now. And because that hit somewhere in the past,
That
whether it's
also
with
is
a
what it
man
is,
or a
yeah.
mom or whatever, because that slapped so hard in your past, it now surfaces now. And so instead of you just walking away with a $300 night with your girls and we had a great time and you don't owe me shit, if you want to do it next time, cool. But, to show the reciprocity next time. But if I'm offering to buy you something or get you a drink or let's go, hey, I just cashed out, made 6 figures in the last couple weeks. Let's go to the store, come shopping with me. And you're like, girl, I ain't about to go in Dior. And I'm like, girl, I got it. Come on, let's go. Are you going to come with me and buy some shoes? Or are you going to say no?
I will say no. I'm not gonna lie. I will say
Yeah.
no. But I think it is
I asked you that on purpose because I want you to see that there's a problem with receiving. There's no way that I'm turning down somebody without stipulation, right? It's not like if I give you this, you give me this, right? Like I'm not trying to like, what did the guy say? Clap cheeks or something? Clap them cheeks? That's what they say?
Maybe.
You know what they say. You know what they say. You know.
I think it is the problem of like owing someone something.
Yeah, but
and
that's
it is
an
how I grew up.
internalized problem.
Yeah, that is how I grew up though. Because my dad always told me, don't let no man like.
Yeah, no. Daddy
Don't let-
messed you
yeah.
up.
Well, no, because most men, it doesn't matter. Most men, you will become indebted to the more you accept from. It doesn't matter how you
I
feel,
think so
what you
as well.
think, what you believe. Most men,
Not if you're showing the reciprocity.
but the thing is, you only
become indebted when you keep taking.
No. I'm saying, if you're showing the reciprocity, yes. But the problem is, which I think is being misunderstood, is that you have to understand that 90% of men, this is a Rico stat, have a problem receiving themselves. So because we have a problem receiving,
Definitely.
we continue to give without the expectations of receiving because we're so used to suppressing receiving.
I don't disagree with that.
So then internalizing this all, you are in debt to us, but we don't fault you for it because we're the ones actually doing it.
No, you do fault. It just comes out a lot later and
I'm
in
just
a
saying,
different
we
emotional way.
We don't fault you for it. We don't fault you for it. But when we then bring it up, however long it gets built up, it comes off as an explosion. But it's not saying that you owe me. It's just more so that we feel like you're ungrateful.
Yeah, that's because the lack of reciprocity.
Well, it's not the lack of reciprocity.
The reciprocity was there. That feeling of you're ungrateful would never exist.
But the reciprocity
gratitude is
isn't. But the
active
thing
the
is,
entire
no.
time.
You have to understand the reciprocity is not in one shape and one form, right? So like a lot of men have a problem receiving. So it's easy for you to have a reciprocity or demonstrate reciprocity in, maybe being more emotionally there for me because I'm so fucked up from not being able to have an equal playing field that emotionally I'm fucked up. Like that's the thing that it really takes a hit to. So that's the only thing that you can kind of fix, or not really fix, but aid. Now the problem is once that man starts to figure that out, that is no longer of the same value to him. Mm-hmm. So that's no longer of reciprocity. Well, like before it was, let's say like if I gave you $10,000 a month and you stroked my ego and made me feel like the man, okay? But really that's only coming from a simple fact that I've been insecure. Mm-hmm. Now a man finally becomes secure, right? In himself. He does his own work. Maybe he goes to therapy, reads a couple self-help books, whatever. He finds himself. Now I'm a secure man. You, what I valued that $10,000 for your reciprocity has now diminished.
It's just shifted. It hasn't diminished.
Well,
and the problem is as we grow, we forget to continue to stay up on top of our partner's love language. See, most men, they have a hard time receiving things from women. They don't have a hard time receiving the two love languages that hit the most, which is quality time and acts of service. Usually physical touch is in there somewhere because men like to be touched, right? But it's typically acts of service and quality time. And that is the
You
problem.
think men-
Women will sit next to their man like this instead of giving him the quality time.
You think
The
that
more
men don't
comfortable
get quality
women
time?
No, I think they do. But what I'm saying is the
Desired men,
can I use a Rico stat?
Okay.
Right? Majority of men, their love language comes with words of affirmation, acts of service, meaning you are doing things for me. I come in the door, you meet me at the door and you give me a hug. That's an act of service, right? It doesn't mean you take off my shoes and you rub my feet. It could mean that, but it doesn't always mean that. Little small acts of service, baby, I brought you a drink, or like, hey, do you want some champagne? Or, those are all acts of service. And when I say reciprocity, women forget to pour back into their man in that way. And now the man just feels like his cup is like on empty because it's not being filled back up with that reciprocity. Not necessarily financial, not necessarily like, am I giving you, and this is also why I always tell my students don't accept allowance, because he'll pour $10,000 into you, your ideas, your business, your dreams, your goals before you could take it, put it in your pocket, because now you have even more to show for that 10 grand because he doesn't physically see the outcome of that money. Men that have money like that, they're builders. They are innovative. They are builders. That's what they do. They're like, okay, if I put this here, this is going to grow. If I plant this seed, this is going to grow. And most women just sit as a little dirty little seed in the soil and they just never grow. And so as time goes on, there's no flower, which means there's no tree, which means there's no fruit. So, even the good book says you can tell the leader by the fruit that it bears, right? The tree by the fruit that it bears. You're bearing no fruit. You didn't even grow carrots or nothing, not even honeysuckles, nothing.
But you got to remember, why are men, all right, so let me ask you this question. I know the answer because I'm a man.
Of course you know the answer.
But for a woman, right, why do you think men like to build? What do you think is the end result?
It's a couple things. Well, that's a two-part question. So why do they like to build is because of a few things. Number one, pressure in society has just made men the dominant ones and that they are the protectors and providers. But it goes back as far as the Beauty and the Beast and the little cartoons and TV shows that we watch as we grow older. The man is always the superhero and the savior. They're always the captain. until they dropped a Wonder Woman, they were the Batmans and even the sidekick was a dude. You know what I mean? There was that masculine role has already been set for boys. So when they become men, they just kind of feel I'm either going to be that or I'm going to feel insuffice. And those are the guys that play the background that can't quite get to that level. You know what I mean? They're like the butler instead of the Robin or the Batman. You know what I'm saying? They're like the servant guy.
But the butler built Batman.
But he can't be Batman.
No, don't.
And there's a difference.
But this is what I'm trying to explain.
And the butler ain't getting no money.
What? The butler is living just like Batman.
He's living a good life.
What do you mean?
Off of Batman's tails.
Off of Batman's father, not Batman.
Now we getting really into the story for real.
But because
I don't know Batman.
and mind you, out of all my superheroes growing up, not mine, out of all these superheroes, Batman was my favorite. Like, I ain't like all the fake shit, Superman flying in the air.
So that being said, that's to answer your question, that's where it comes from. It comes from the grooming of entertainment industry. It comes from the grooming of just men always being shown that they lead and they're masculine and they take the ranks and they're supposed to be this superhero.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Why they build was part 2 of the question, right? Okay. You said you said what's the end goal of the build, right?
Yeah. Well, like, what's the satisfaction part? I guess.
The satisfaction part, I feel like, and correct me, man, if I'm wrong, but has to be a differential between every man. Like, some men view success as like money and power. Other men view success as like creating something that they could say, I did that, or I made that, or look what I did. Those are the men that my students
self-serve their ego.
Those are the men that my students tend to find. That's why they build them and pour so much into them, because they want to be, and this is why women have a hard time with this, because they're like, I don't want no man that's going to tell me, throw it in my face and say he built me. You can say whatever you want. I'll sign the paperwork. I don't care. Like, you can say you built me. You can say you did whatever. But thank you. Thank you for building.
It is.
Right?
It
because
is ego.
It could have been, it is. It's an ego monster.
On both sides.
On both sides. Absolutely.
No, on both. But because the thing is this. So this is the thing. Men innately have a hunger to conquer.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
It's not about being a superhero.
No.
This is why they can feed kids video games and have 10,000 levels with different bosses and different difficulty levels, because when a man conquers something, he feels good.
Yeah, hunt fish, build a house. That's
a psyche. It's not even grooming. It's just innate. It's a natural thing for us, right? It doesn't matter if he's an undesirable man or incapable man. He's going to find something that he can conquer and win and stick to it, right? So that's just one. Part 2 is when men are builders, right? Because not every man is a builder. But when men are builders, most of those men tend to build for the ability to utilize what they've built.
Correct.
Right? So a lot of men that are...
That was a gem, actually.
A lot of men that are builders just to feed their ego to say, I built that, are usually men who are not validated. So they have to find validation in something else. It's important to be careful, because those unvalidated men who build like that just to self-serve their ego are a ticking time bomb. And at some point, it's going to go south. I don't know when. Everyone's different.
I agree to an extent. I feel like all men look for, and I keep going back to the word reciprocity, right? All men look for that gratification in some way, shape, or form. Some just find it in what they've poured into and invested into, growing and becoming this amazing stock or this amazing business or this amazing best-selling book or whatever it is. And they say, people that can't do teach. So when a man doesn't feel like or feels like the route that he took didn't allow him to fulfill those certain levels of achievement, he'll pour into a woman in hopes that she fulfills those levels of achievement so that he feels better, that ego thing, right? But when women don't do that, that's when the ticking time bomb happens. Because it's like, yo, I'm giving you time, I'm giving you effort, I'm giving you energy, I'm giving you money, I'm giving you all the resources you need, and you're still dropping the bomb? You're still going into Dior? You still don't have anything in your name? You still don't have a business? You still have nothing? And I've given you all of this. That's where the ticking time bomb comes in because of the same root word, reciprocity. That reciprocity does not always lie in the action of a woman to a man. Sometimes it lies in what she does for herself that allows him to feel like that was a fruitful investment. Ain't no man dropping thousands of dollars on a woman, even hundreds of dollars on a woman that has an end goal. It's like hundreds come in when you're trying to get the cheeks, right? Like you'll impress your $300 dinners, whatever. But beyond that, that is a man that is trying to reap the reward of what I'm about to turn this woman into. Like I'm about to turn her from this into what I see her potential being. And those men are businessmen. Those men are CEOs, entrepreneurs. They understand what I put in time, work, effort, energy, and I get this out. And when they do all that and they don't get that out, that's where the time bomb comes in.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't think that would be considered reciprocity though. I do find it to be true. I don't think you're wrong.
It's
but
a form of exchange, but it's not
reciprocity.
It is reciprocity.
It's not any.
Because a man has that piece of him that can only be fulfilled by the things that he physically has created and built. Like with you and your children, right? You're like, I made that. That's me. You know what I mean? And you take pride in that child and you nurture that child and you
until they become an adult.
That's the only right. That's the one thing that a man absolutely must have is fulfillment at the end of the road. And even if that fulfillment doesn't come along the way, when you raise your kid, even if they're a badass kid, when they grow up and they go off to do whatever amazing thing that they do, you're proud of them, right? When they become the Tom Brady, you're proud of them. When they become the flake who is a failure and the talk of the family, you see that relationship becomes very broken and the exchanges are different and there's no longer, the love is still there, but it's not a love that you can touch, feel, touch and see. It's a love that you feel because I made that, you know? But it's like, I made this fucking flake. You know what I mean? You grew up to be a flake. This is what happens in relationships with women because men aren't designed to be nurturers and healers and all of that. So they're like, hey, I'm gonna give you the resources. You go do your thing and then come back as a whole brand new, come back as a Grammy. Don't come back as like a nomination.
But most men don't want to build something and have no access to it. So if I was a man and I'm a farmer and I go ahead and I say, you see all these trees over here? We knock this all down, we level it out, we plant the seeds, we fertilize with great soil, and then somebody else comes in and tells me that the owner of this land or the neighbor of this land has now bought this land, and I have to leave my investment here, leave my efforts here, and walk away because I can't see eye to eye with them. That's when a man can have an issue.
100%.
Right? So when it comes to investing into anything, that's why it is a form of reciprocity. I'm not disagreeing, but it's not a mutual exchange. Now, when it becomes...
I don't think anything in a man-woman relationship is a mutual exchange. Outside of, and even sex.
I think there's always a mutual exchange when you have a balance, right? And a balance is if we can both leave with similar to what we came with, that's when it becomes a mutual exchange. Now, if I leave feeling like I was the one that was duped, I overspent, I overbuilt, and now I have no access to what I've built, because most men look at their women as a savings account. That's the only reason why he's building her. I'm building you in case some shit falls off, and hopefully you're good enough to, to keep us afloat, or I'm building you to expand.
No, I agree with you. In fact, this is my relationship right now. My man closed his business in January. When I met him last time I was on the show, he was making $70,000 a week. You know what I mean? And now he went from making $70,000 a week to $70,000 a year. And that's what I make in 6 weeks. You see, 5 weeks. So his emotional state is very fragile because he's used to being a provider man. He's used to being able to pour in, to be the one to say yes, to make the decisions. So we are currently finding the balance every day of like, how do I keep you in your king's chair of masculinity and being the man in this household, in this relationship, even though the financial dynamic has shifted. But this is what you built me for. You designed me to do this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you
but
designed
that's-
me to be a powerhouse, to make a shit ton of money, to be super impactful. You made me into this. All the things you taught me, all the networking capabilities, you opened up doors for me. You designed me to be this. Now I'm this, and you're not what you were anymore. And even though you're not, that's a hard pill for a real man to swallow.
I don't, no offense.
None taken.
It's not a hard pill for any real man to swallow, because a real man doesn't lose his value but based on the dollar. And I think that when a man is going to stand in his essence with or without, if he's a man at his core. Now, when they say don't let the money make you, a lot of men let the money make his manhood. And when that money makes his manhood and he loses the money for whatever reason, it takes a shot at his
So let me ask
manhood.
you a question. Outside of protecting and providing, what makes a man a man?
Well, the ability to provide, I mean, technically, if we're talking about providing obviously can come in the form of many different ways than just financial. Because technically, if I've already provided you to be the breadwinner by my investment, I don't care how much you make. I provided you this.
Have you ever had a woman that made more money than you?
I have.
And you don't feel like it affected the dynamic of the relationship?
No. In fact, it was the same as when I had relationships that I made more money than them, because I'm a man in my core. The money, see, one thing about me, especially if I was him, I know I'm gonna make money, especially because I've proven to myself I'm gonna make money.
Right.
I can have $0 today. I know I have 10,000 by the end of the week. Right. And even if I don't, I know it's going to come sooner or later. But but the money, the materials, that the outside of me never affects the inside of me. In fact, to be honest, the more money I make and the more businesses I'm open, it's starting to piss me off because it's more stress, right? And it's actually taking me away from me actually focusing on myself. But what I'm saying is
So the small difference between feeling like I'm still a man no matter what when you are in your 30s versus when you're pushing 50 and you lived your whole life building business and
But I built
making
you. You're my other
millions
business.
That's how it should be.
But
that's how it should be.
But what I'm
Well,
trying
I
to
don't
tell
disagree
you,
with that.
What was the plan that you put in place in your relationship when he
this was
had
the
that
plan. She said it.
Go ahead.
No, okay, no, but you said that you try to make sure that he's still in his masculinity. Like, what exactly do you do? Even though
I'm figuring it out. Like this is a now thing, right?
Okay.
Like he just closed his business in January. Here we are, fast forward, 4 or 5 months into the year. He just closed a business that he had for 22 years, right? That made millions and millions of dollars a year. So to go from that to looking around and being like, what the do I have left? And it's like, I built you, but that's you. I built you, and you still feel great, and you still feel like you're riding this high, and you have so much more to accomplish. But like, what do I have to accomplish now? So
Right,
it's
but
about
when-
me helping him to reset his goals, reestablish what it is that he actually wants in life. And when you lose it all, it's really hard to have those. It's hard to like have goals, dreams, desires, wants. Like you start to kind of like all of that gets diminished into nothing because you realize how fast it.
But does that
can
make you
go.
feel like you're in charge now and you have
Do you
to
act
now
as if you're in charge?
take over?
Do you
There
act
is
as if you're
a
in
there
charge?
there is a
A power shift?
I will use the trip, for example. We just took a trip to Mexico, right? I paid for the trip. I picked the house. He was pissed about it because it's not cheap. It's not a cheap house, but that's just not how I operate. I don't want a condo. I want an 8-bedroom, 8,600 square feet. You know what I mean? That's
Is
the
that
type
the
of
house
time I'm
you-
on. That's the house that I picked,
Yeah.
You
right?
picked
And
the
I
8-bedroom.
paid
Okay.
for it. But if this were a year ago and I asked him, let's get that house, he would say, yeah. But now that it's coming out of my pocket and he feels like that's supposed to be something that he does, he feels like, no, I don't want you to do that. So it does hinder the relationship in that aspect because now the things that he used to say yes to, he's saying no to now because he's like, damn, I don't want you having to do that. I don't want that obligation on you. And I don't feel that way.
It's
I don't
just
feel obligated.
It's a problem with him
but
being able to receive.
That's
And
why I agreed with you when you said men have a hard time receiving financially. In any other aspect, they tend to receive easily. But when it comes to...
No, a lot of men can't receive love too. A lot of men have a hard time receiving good treatment by women when they've been treated poorly.
But what is love, right? You have to break that down because that's such a generic word. It's like, what does that consist of? Does it consist of which one of those love languages or how many of them actually consist within that love?
It could be.
So now, yes, I will never lose respect for him because
he built you.
Not because he built me, because of the kind of man he is at his core, no matter what.
But what kind of man is he if he's in shambles where money's taken away?
He has honor. He has integrity. He always does what he says he's going to do. He has a character that most men could never compete with or without money.
So the dollar amount doesn't matter.
The integrity, I didn't say that. That's not what I said. For the record, I didn't say that.
No.
For the record, that's not what I said. So if he decided if he decided to sit on his ass and do nothing for the rest of his life because I built him, that would be a problem for me. Even if it's to the degree...
Built him or because he built you?
No, because that's what makes him feel like a man, is him doing. And when he's not doing, he doesn't have that same... He doesn't come with that same energy. So he asked me, like, do you still respect him? Absolutely, because the qualities of his character have not diminished.
Did he ask you
However,
if you still respect him the same?
No, he's actually never asked me that. I think he feels like...
you feel like he feels small?
I feel like he thinks he feels small. I don't look at him in that way, and I never will. I will always put him on the pedestal that he belongs on.
That it doesn't matter what you think of him then?
Yeah, 100%. It is all internalized. It is all him. He could go make another milli right now. He's got it. You know what I mean? Like, he got it in here. He's missing it in here. The passion for the things the ways he used to get money is gone. He doesn't trust people anymore. He's been burnt so many times. Like, he's raised all of his employees and took care of all their families. Like, they went into COVID, he was paying them every week. You know what I mean? They were getting PPP and he was paying them. So he just, like, he's that dude for real. Like, one of his employees' son went to the hospital. He paid all the medical bills for the hospital. Like, he's that guy.
You don't see that character right there?
What?
Overly giving? Overly caring?
And that's why he's so mad at himself now, because now that he's lost the ability to do that.
And no one is there to do it for him too.
I mean, there is.
Who?
Me.
Yeah, but
it's not, it doesn't hold the same weight. It doesn't hold the same weight. No matter, I could route all of the funds from the business into his account and he would route them shits right back.
Well, of course. I mean,
he just can't stand on that because he's a real man.
I don't think that's a real man. I think a real man.
And prideful.
I think
it is prideful.
It's prideful too.
Because
it's the fact that, like, men have a hard time receiving, but it's also pride.
I think
it's
only a man.
I can't let my woman take care of me. He's not that man.
But that's the problem. See, the thing is that that statement is jumping to, I guess, like statement 3 in the whole story, and not statement 1. Statement 1 is, you can't take care of me if I built you. I made this investment in you for this day. I've built you for this moment. I saw you, picked you out for the moment, and just like I said,
he used to say those things, but now that verbiage has drastically shifted
because it was just verbiage. It wasn't real. When it's the essence of his core, it's like, yo, listen, I'm putting this money over here because I want this to grow into this. I'm putting this money over here, and I'm doing this over here because it's going to keep everything afloat in the meantime. But if I lose one and I still got 2, I'm still good. Now, I obviously do think every man needs to go do something. I'm not.
I would pay him to stay at home, keep his body together, keep a strong dick, and drink wine with me at night. A dead ass would. I would
pay him to do
I would literally cut him a check.
But see,
I was about to say,
cut him a check from the business account, route that shit right to him, name him some CEO, somebody. Absolutely.
And what'd he say?
It did not go over well.
You know why?
Yeah, because it's giving sugar baby.
No, it's not giving sugar baby. It's giving. I took pride in my position and being able to provide for you. And now I feel insuffice because I can't do that now.
No, it feels like he took a gamble and risk on you, and now he feels like the roles have reversed, and he is now you. And I'm not,
thing.
it's not
I
the
said the same thing.
because when you really look at it, if he finds it disrespectful, he finds your position beneath him to come into this relationship from the very beginning. For him to say, I would never play that role as well. So if he honored it and had the same level of respect for it, he'd be like, all right, cool, that's cool. But if I can't find that same level of respect for it, that's because I've already felt like I was above it and I could never go there.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I meant when I said earlier, he lost everything. And once you lose
It hurts.
to that magnitude, it hurts your ego, it hurts your pride, it hurts your masculine
You should
energy.
give him a kid.
And you also
Give him a kid.
a kid
Right.
that he
Cut.
doesn't feel like he could
Cut.
provide for right now. He feels small.
Yo, if
Listen,
if
we got
given-
2 dogs. I'm not having no kids.
But
I'm done with
trying to-
that.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. A man like him, who is a good man,
Absolutely. The best.
right? He's a great man, and I'm just speaking on based on what you said. A child is going to make him get back up, right? So you are not
Talking about a man who's a lot older than you. He
but-
got 10, 12 years on you.
Yeah, but
So
I'm trying
maybe
to tell
that
you.
would work for you. But a man who's
Rico said
approaching
he needs a
50 years
motivator.
old,
He needs a baby.
He don't want no damn baby. We don't look.
Rico
needs a
said he
baby.
needs some kind of
We had an
incentive.
agreement in the beginning of our relationship. We don't want no more kids. He got 2. I got 2. We're done with children. What he needs is not a motivation because that's external.
Yeah.
But he needs an ignition inside, something that he finds passion in, that he wants to curate, take care of, and grow.
But the last.
But do you think
He's
that
just
that'll
lost.
work?
I don't think-
think that for someone like how you're explaining him, I think that it'll only like pick him back up if he's the provider again. I don't think that
That's what
any
would
level
make
of
him the provider again. Like this man that I'm speaking of is like he's built multiple $1 million businesses for multiple people, not just himself.
Right.
So he is a it's not called innovator, it's called, I can't think of it right now, it starts with an E. But he's so good at it. Like he could look at something, he could look at this setup, never set up cameras ever before, and he could literally be like, if we angle this like this, or if we move this like that, or if we fix the mic like this, it'll sound better. And he'd be right. He'd be 100% right. And because he's such a powerhouse at that, him diminishing his position from that authoritative space where everybody listens to him because he's always right, to now him feeling like I'm questioning myself. Am I always right? Am I feeling like, because I just lost everything. How could I lose everything if I'm always right? How could I lose everything if I'm this like brilliant, thinker?
yeah.
Like how could it's an internalized thing that I'm going to stand beside until the shift happens. And the only thing that would separate our relationship is if that shift never happens. If he decides that I'm going to be, I hate to say mediocre, but I'm going to accept whatever life throws at me versus creating life like I always have. So if that feeling never comes back, and I don't know what that time frame is, right? Like it's only been a short period of time since he shut down the business and stuff. So he's healing
He's
right now.
gonna-
You know what I mean? He's bleeding out still, and I'm trying to Band-Aid it
You are
up.
going.
But am I trying to be out? Absolutely not.
Of course.
If it took him 3 years, it would say more about me than it does about him. If I can't find a way to help him spark that internal thing, that flame again, it says more about me, my focus on me, my own selfishness, my own business, my own accolades, my own success, than it does about his inability to get back up.
But it's not you. It's not. So I disagree with that because you can't help spark. I want to say you can't, but like you can't put the blame on you to help spark something that's within somebody else.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
all
take the
them.
blame for it, but I'm saying if in 3 years the direction of our relationship ends up shifting because he can't get back up, I don't blame me for that. I'm saying that is a direct reflection of how much I have invested into him because he invested into me and look what it built.
So what?
So I should be able to do at least a fraction of that in return for him.
Mutual exchange.
You understand?
Mutual exchange.
So yeah, 100%. Like even if that means, giving him the time, the space to heal and to get out of this broken state. But in the event that he decides, and we've had these conversations where he's been like, look, I'm not the man you met. Like, I am broken. You know what I mean? Like, I am in a place where I don't trust people. I don't even like people. I don't want to build another business because I don't want to look at people. I don't want to hire people. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to have employees. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, take your time and figure out what you want to do. Which is why I said, like, he just ran, for example, small example, we were on vacation. He comes to me on vacation. He's like, babe, I got your Google ads up. I'm like, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, I got your Google ads up. This is not a man who does Google ads and does runs. I've been trying to run Facebook ads for 4 years, and them shits get denied every time. I can't get it to work at all. Here he puts his hands in it for a day, and boom, we have Google ads running, and they're slapping right now. In 2 days,
about to happen?
They're already getting results, and they're already, kicking up speed.
Do you know what's going to happen?
But I will say...
Do you understand what's about to happen?
What, with the Google ads?
Do you know what's about to happen?
Hopefully he takes that Google check and,
You think he's going to take the Google check?
No, he's not going to take the Google check.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you one thing about
Do tell.
me.
I'm listening.
I am a person who's rarely wrong, especially when I tell you about
Same.
the upcoming events.
You've met your match.
No.
No, but I'm listening
right?
because I'm a woman at the end of the day, right? Like at the start of the day, at the end of the day, I'm a woman. And I'm always down to hear wise insight from a man who wants to see a good outcome for whatever we're discussing, right? Like I want a solutionist on the other side of the conversation, not an antagonist.
Of course.
And so, if you're...
Which one are you today?
Which one are you? How did you wake up today?
I'm a solution.
No, I think Rico gets down with me. He cool with me, so I feel like he's about to give me a little nugget. He gave me a couple gems already that I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. So I'm listening.
So I remember our conversation prior on the first time. Okay, one of the things, and if I'm just putting together this puzzle, I remember you saying that he did not like his job. He makes a lot of money, but that's not what he wants to do. But I don't know how long he was doing it, but just by hearing
22 years.
Just by hearing the story, it's been his whole life, right? So now that he's at a point where he doesn't know how to rebuild, only because he doesn't know where to start, only because he never did anything that he wanted to do in his life.
Well, not true. Not true. When he was younger, he was mega millions in the stock market. He was...
Yeah, but you don't want to do that.
Prior to 9/11, he was the youngest... can't remember what the name of it is, but broker. Yeah. He was the youngest broker in the firm. But really on Wall Street, period. So he's had those successes and achievements, but in the last 22 years, that's all he knows.
Listen, it's not about the success and achievements. We got to strip that out. He's never done what he wanted to do.
Right.
He's made money, but he's never done what he wanted to do. So to ask him what he wants to do let's just say
I think he's still figuring that out.
He never did it, right?
Yeah.
So now, this is what's about to happen. Don't show him this episode because I want to know if I'm right. Give it about...
He gonna low-key watch it anyway.
Give it about 12 to 24 months, right?
He don't play about me.
He's going to get to a point where he's going to sit here and say, I've been doing everything for everybody else my entire life. Now, I did reap the benefits of it, of course. But now, I did this for their company. I did this for their stocks. I did this for this firm. I did this for everything. I did this for the person that I actually love and care about. This is also mine. So what he helped you build, he will some way shape he's going to segue himself into a ownership / partnership.
So let me tell you how I know that you're right.
But yeah, because that's why he's on them Google ads.
No. Let me tell
I'm about to build this shit.
Let me tell you how I know that you're right. So 2 things are going to happen. He will not take the Google ad money until it is beyond suffice where he feels like he could take a piece without it having any remote effect on me, which is now, literally. Like, you could take all of that, but he won't, right? Because he's still in that figure it out phase, But the job that he has is a behind the scenes like he does like checking out the web. I'm gonna f this up so bad, but he does like behind the scenes engineering, like digging through websites, making sure they're operational, making sure that they work, making sure that they have the SEO and that all of the functionality is there, and he restructures it when it's not. He'd been there for 3 months. The boss is like loving him because he's finding bugs in systems that they didn't even know existed, and they got software to find shit like that, and he's finding it, you know? So I said to him, why don't you just take a check from the company and stay home and figure out what you love to do? You like building shit? Go down to the basement, build you a whole little workshop, and go have at it. You know what I mean? Do whatever makes you happy. You deserve that. I told him in the beginning, I'm going to retire you, and now we're at that point where I can really stand on that. And now you're like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
I want you to retire.
what was
I don't want to retire.
What was his reaction?
Yeah, like you see what's happening, right?
His reaction to me saying, take the check, he said,
she doesn't even know.
I will never, I'm not leaving this job. And I'm like, why? Like, it's not paying you a whole lot of money. Like, we could cut that check from Sweet to Elite and not bat an eyelash. Like, if that's what you want to, let's do it. He's like, I will not quit this job. And I'm like, why? He's like, because I'm learning all the things that I need to know.
I was just about to say it. He's about to take what he learned over here and put it over here.
Absolutely. And he's like, for the first time in my life, he's like, I'm collecting a check in this country for the first time in my life. He's an immigrant. He's like, I've never collected a check. He's like, and it's the best, worst feeling in the world. But I will do it, and I will sacrifice my time, sit at this computer, even though it's not what I want to do. Never had a computer job ever. Now that's what he's sitting there all day, you know, on a computer. But he's still, at the end of it all, still doing it for me. Still.
You think so?
Absolutely.
No. He's doing it.
Well,
When I say
It's not about
no,
to be.
I agree and disagree, right?
Yeah,
I agree that it's not just for me because he is finding his thing and he's finding his way to be super impactful again, you know, like he was in the beginning. Where like the Google
his goal
ads,
is just to get
once the
back to
Google
that.
ads went through, I was like, damn, baby.
Okay, so we're going to switch gears and we're going to get into what we call a hero complex. Also known as a savior complex. It's when one person in a relationship believes that they can fix the other.
That's me all day.
That's you trying to fix?
100%. 100%.
Okay, well, hold on, because this second sentence is important. It says people with a hero complex often go above and beyond, making gestures that can undermine their own happiness and security.
I don't do it to where it's toxic to me, right? And
All
undermining
heroes
my
do
own.
die. Just want to let you know.
Say it again.
All heroes do die.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
What Disney movies do you watch?
Yeah, I don't know what.
You play hero. I'm talking about real life. All the dudes that play hero die. Like,
Well, I'm not a dude playing a hero, so give me my cape. Anyway, so I am that right now, and that just like really nailed it for my persona that I've adopted in the last few months since we've been going through this, you know, healing and growth journey.
Yeah.
I am finding myself trying to supplement his joy and his happiness, and I cannot do that. And because of me being the coach, I'm the fixer. I fix everybody's shit. You know, the girl got a problem, I fix it. She got to fall out with her man, I fix it. I'm the fixer. So it's like, why can't I fix you? I can. And that's that hero complex. Yeah. That's that, like, I can save the day. All I need to do is drop more money, give more money, create more money, make $1 million, and then we'll be happy again. And it's like, no, none of those things will fulfill him because he has an empty spot that he has to fill. And whether that's going through, you know, this job to learn everything he can to 30, 40x my business, and that fills his hole. But I find myself trying to expedite that process.
Right.
And you cannot. Like that was a big gem for me just now.
I think that you also gotta, and it's not just you.
Because usually it's the men that have a hero complex. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Of course. No,
Usually-
women
No,
too.
I
it's the
think I have a
men.
little bit of hero complex as well.
But in this
Often.
scenario, it was really like,
No,
you know,
you gotta think about
hey,
it.
these fellas, like, you know, a woman could come in and you're targeting this man and you're going to take him for everything. And, you know, you're looking for a man that has a hero complex. When really, oh my God, I'm the man with the hero complex.
Yeah, I was gonna say it goes on both. The shoe goes on both of you.
Let me tuck my shit in.
You know they say
The realization mid sentence.
Yeah, no, that hit me. That hit me seriously in a real way. And I am going to take that home, sit on that, meditate on that, pray on that, ask God for forgiveness to redirect me, because you can't. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing that you can do. A person that's broken is broken, and they have to find their own healing. You can assist along the way of the journey by being patient and gentle and nurturing and kind and forgiving, but you cannot fill that space.
Yeah, 'cause
they have to fill it
I was
up.
going to say, it really doesn't matter how much money you make at the end of the day. He's
doesn't.
not going to take it from you.
No.
If he is the kind of man you say he is, that's not going
tried.
to fix whatever problem
tried.
he's had.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we gotta also understand. Well, first and foremost, I do want to say that it's basically saying, I think it's two people playing hero, right? And that's the
Okay.
problem, right? So it sounds like to me that
Like he's always been hero and I'm just tapping in now.
no, you both been needing a hero. He was insecure, or he had nothing. He had some type of intangible lack of that he was looking to be filled, and you were the one to fill that void.
I mean, but that's everybody. That's why relationships come together.
I think that
'Cause you're missing something, I'm missing something.
no.
Now we
There's
fill it for each other.
I disagree. I think there's people who are missing something, but then I think that there are people that actually come in whole, but they appreciate and value something. There's a big difference. So when you look for somebody who is missing something, you can easily give them what they're missing, and they'll give you what you want in return, right? But if you come to me and I'm whole and I just appreciate some things, it's going to be a lot more different, because that man or that woman who is missing something needs it.
Yeah, now requires that.
If and I can't live without it, and if you strip it away from me, it's going to be detrimental to me. If I come in or you come in whole,
relationship.
it's like, okay, I appreciate what you give to me. I appreciate what you do for me, and then it becomes more so of a actual, I would say, like interdependency rather than a codependency, right? And so it's easier to get it off on those type of people, right? Who are looking for the void to be filled. So now the problem is you were looking in the mirror.
There's also not many whole people out here.
No, it's
Like there is the percentage of people that actually are whole is super slim.
no, I don't mean, but I don't mean
Especially because the space that I work in, remember, like
But that's
I
what-
am meeting women that are not at their bottom financially or emotionally, but in some way, right? Like there's not one specific way. It's not always money. Again, I have 7-figure earners right now. I have, doctors, lawyers, women that are very well off. They're just tired of taking care of men. So they have a need still. And so I'm having a hard time with accepting that there are people that are whole, because if they are whole, what is the intent and purpose of a companion if I'm already complete by myself and I'm
you're not.
fulfilled by myself?
Okay, but what does it mean to
self-worth,
be
yeah.
whole?
That's what I'm getting
Well,
at. Like what
The meaning of whole is just being able to know yourself, being able to be okay and appreciate whatever areas of you that lie, and heal whatever wound that is. Right? I do think that right now, I don't want to say there's not a lot of whole people. I would say there's not a lot of whole people in certain demographics or certain areas of the world, or certain even financial classes, right? There's a lot of people that live comfortably making $100,000 a year and accept it and have no issues. They have a great marriage. But for some people, $100,000 a year ain't enough. So, then you're going to have to go out and figure out where it is. Now, I do think if we just look at it collectively, there's a lot of whole people. There's also just a lot of people who are built on the gluttony of more, right? So I
don't know if it's necessarily a gluttony of more, because I'm in a point where, I'm continuously climbing. I'm making 3 times more than what I was making last time I was on the couch. But the more I make, the more impact I can create. You understand? So it's not just like, I'm going to go take this, $10,000 house and enjoy it on the beach. I'm also going to go take $2,000 out and go pay for random people's groceries in the grocery store. I'm also going to take $400 out and go add more votes to my homegirl's thing so she wins the mommy of the year, whatever, right?
Your
Like,
friends be doing that too?
my friends be doing that. I don't know. But you know what? Hey, whatever floats your boat, sis. I hope you get that
Okay.
20 grand. Throw me back my 400. It's like, I'm just playing. If you win, I'm just kidding. But it's like, you know, the work that I do, I'm dealing with women that are coming to me that are missing something. And it might not always be financial, but they're missing something. And the compatibility comes in when you find a man that's also missing something. So I understand your point of like interdependency versus codependency. However, I feel like that is what sustains those relationships long term. Like grandma's grandma wasn't with her husband for 60 years because she always loved him. She was with him because of what they did for each other, how they fulfilled each other's needs.
But they were both already themselves. See, like now we got to a point where
But what does that mean?
because
Those
here's-
were also
I'm
different
going to give you
times.
the
What
example.
do you mean by
Here's
them? They were already themselves.
I'm going to give you a current example,
Okay,
right?
perfect. Shoot.
Right now you're in a relationship, right? You've been in a relationship for 5 years. We asked you a question about if it took him 3 years from this point on, right, to get back to the man that he was, could you do it? And the first thing you said was, I have to self-reflect because that speaks a lot about me. But you also did say that there was a time frame, but you did not disclose what that time
Because I don't really know what that time frame is.
Right?
When I get to a point where I'm like, okay, this is what you're sitting in, and we have that honest conversation, because he is a very honest man, brutally honest, and he will literally look me in my face and be like, this is where I'm staying.
Okay, so we get
So
that.
you either take this or you don't.
So look, right? So let me finish.
I don't know when that happens.
That's cool. So
Answer the question.
That's cool. So, but when you look at it from a whole grand scheme of things, right? If it took this man 5 years to build you, the fact that you know that it's not at least 5 years of reciprocity in that part, right? And now you're looking at what's happening in your current relationship. Your current relationship, he scored you by feeding you the resources to build a business. Now you are trying to do the same thing for him, but that's not what he needed. You were both literally playing savior and hero for each other, and you didn't realize it until now this point where you're trying to shower him the same way that he showered you, but it's not what he needs.
100%.
So now, with that being said, if you can't figure out what he needs, you cannot stay. This is on your words, right? Which means that codependency is very, very shaky business when that void is no longer either fillable or has changed to something that's unidentifiable. You know what I'm saying? So now, when you have the interdependency, it's just an appreciation factor, right? Those last, unless you stop doing the things that I appreciate.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it would probably take a lot longer because it's like, hey, I can communicate what I want and you can communicate why you're not doing it and we can find ways to go do it again.
Right.
But it's not something that I need to keep me happy, right? Nobody can be with somebody who's just depressed all the time.
Correct.
Right? And there's nothing that you could do, and you're showering them with gifts, you're
Correct.
showering them with resources, you're showering them with love and affection, but they're still depressed. And it's like, well, damn, I can't even be happy now because I feel uncomfortable being happy while you're sad.
While you're sad.
That's where the hero complex comes
But
in,
that's why-
really.
That's literally where it's at right now.
Because you cannot be happy if your partner is not. I mean,
Correct.
some people can.
Correct.
Like, imagine you
So,
thriving
for
and he's just
example,
sinking.
So
like-
here's a prime example, right? In September, I'm getting a Lamborghini. That's my goal. My daughter's turning 16. She's getting my little round of the Honda, you know, and I'm going to get my big girl car. I'm 35 years old. I'll be 36 in July. It's time for my big girl car. He has never been the type of person to drive fancy shit, do fancy shit, fly private jets. He's like, I'd rather feed a village before I sit on a private jet. So our goals have just drastically shifted as well. So you asked me earlier, you know, like, how are you figuring that out? That's what I'm doing. I'm giving him time to rediscover what his goals are. I already know what mine are and really seeing if those align. And if that takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I'm fine with the time frame because I want to spend the rest of my life with him. There's no ticking time on how long I want to be with him. However, if all I eat is fast food and he gets sick off fast food, what are we eating? See what I'm saying?
You know what I just thought about?
Like if my goals are private jets and you're disgusted by private jets, you're not gonna come with me on a jet?
But that's
what I'm saying?
but yeah.
The goals begin to shift and change. The thing is that there's a misconception about what I do. People think from the outside that I run some sugar baby club and women are just thirsty for men's money. And 80% of the time when they find me, that's what they find. That's because my marketing is A1 and it's like how to meet a rich man or where to meet a rich man. And that is, nobody's gonna go viral off of how to date a broke boy. You know what I mean? So that desire of a
People
woman
need to know
having
that as well.
security, the desire of a woman having security makes her drawn to my marketing. Once she gets here, she realizes very quickly that I'm either going to be jumping ladders and ladders and ladders and ladders and never have something that is going to, when the fucking house is on fire, there's going to be a ladder tall enough to save me from the house being on fire. Versus what I actually do, which is build the woman up, build the house up, make sure there's fire extinguishers in that bitch. So in case you don't got to worry about hopping from ladder to ladder or whose ladder is the highest and et cetera, et cetera. That's why I said there's a difference between dating and business. When it comes to business, these women are looking for men to invest in them, but it's not the richest man in the room. It's not the ladder with 72 steps because like you mentioned, that ladder may not give you shit ever. It may just come with problems and drama and baby mama stuff and court and kids and all types of things that you don't want to deal with. So what I do is I teach women how to become the woman that the man they wants. You understand? So it's not like if you go to my Instagram bio, it literally gives you the 3 steps. It's like I help you when you're sick of it and I help you build something that you're no longer sick of, that you can enjoy, that you can make money from, that you could be profitable from. How you build that thing may not all be with your own money. It may be with other people's pockets. It may be with one of my students just hit $10,000 in grants because of what I taught her in my boot camp. And my boot camp is designed to teach you how to date. Doesn't teach you how to get grants, but she used that same information that she received in there to go and get 10 grand worth of grants so far this year. So it's like, I think the disconnect for me is comparing what I do to the typical mindset of a sugar baby, gold digger, lady of the sunset type of
just
thing.
a nicer
because
way.
they hop ladders intentionally. My students are getting married and building relationships and
But they're not
building families.
But it's not sustainable. So it doesn't. It's just a drawn out sugar baby process in a sense. So it's like, okay, I need you to be able to help me build, right?
Mm-hmm.
And or help me climb a ladder because I don't even have a ladder, right? So now when I get
Sort of.
So when I get
I
taught,
don't need you to help me do that.
Well,
you're going to spend your money to court me, and I'm going to divert those funds to where they make the most sense.
yes,
Literally.
but in the same exact program, it's also shown that and told that I want to use this money for business.
Right,
I want to
right.
use this money to grow, which means this is something that I'm showing you because if you knew how to do this business, you would have been doing it prior to me, right? So now I am your ladder. So now I'm actually taking you up this ladder with me. Now, what I'm saying is not sustainable is because it's only teaching what the man wants right now. But it never teaches you what the man wants when you're eye level with him. Because none of them are ever eye level with them. And with no respect and no disrespect to you, you weren't eye level with your man at first.
Correct.
Until now. And now you're at that point where you're like, well, listen, I'm not going to stop climbing the ladder now that I've gotten this far. I'm going to go get a Lamborghini. I'm going to go on a private jet. I'm going to raise this from $70,000 to $250,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? And he is on some, and I don't know him, so I hate saying
understand.
this.
Speculating.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Go ahead.
And he is on some like, well, such and such, this amount is good. It's enough to take care of this, right? And I want to stay within, I want to continue to make money, of course. I'm not diminishing his goals and aspirations of getting money, but in terms of living this lavish lifestyle, right? So now what's gonna, but it was inevitable to happen because you came in with the mindset of sustaining business and making this a business transaction, right? Which in reality, when you haven't had that money, right? And now you get that money, you want to experience this money. And you can't fault anybody for wanting to experience the money.
Right.
So now that you're at a point in your life where like, I want to experience my money. He's been making money for 25
Been
years.
experiencing it forever.
Yeah. So, so like,
He's unimpressed by those things
And-
that are still my.
it's new money versus old money.
Right.
Right. But now the problem is the old money has now got to make new money. You know what I'm saying? So there's a level where you can easily climb on a different ladder that'll go higher in a split second. Right. And that could play into the fear of a man and anxiety of the man, because it's like, I know you appreciate me, but I also know you're willing to move on from me. And that is it's just something that's going to just grow, especially with the more time that passes that he's not at where he wants to be at. And I mean, he might have made a lot of money very early on in his life, right? But now he might be at a point where he's like, I'm starting back from zero again, right? And if I got to start back from zero, it's not going to be that easy this time.
Right.
It might take me 5 or 10 years. But I know, whether or not you guys had this conversation,
We have.
my girl has a time frame.
We have had this conversation.
And I don't want and the worst thing is, when a man loves his investment, it hurts twice as much.
I don't disagree.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't disagree with that.
Can I ask a question? How does he feel about you wanting a Lamborghini?
He hates it.
Wait, say it again. Can you
He
say the
hates
question
it.
again?
I said, how
Because-
does he feel
so-
about
So
for
for
wanting
me,
a Lamborghini?
for me, I look at the Lamborghini as a business investment, right? Because right now, people have desire, and it's always whatever they got, I want, right? And so when you can show, like, you built your sunglasses business, there's 90,000 people behind you that are like, damn, I want to find a vendor for my sunglasses, and I want to figure out how to create that. Like, I see Rico doing it, I want to do it, right? That desire is there.
Or I want success.
When you stop doing those things, then the audience that you once had that pays your bills, right? That literally builds your lifestyle, you begin to lose that audience. And so we continue to refine. Somebody just asked me the other day on a live, like, why when girls get money, they go get their body done, they go get their teeth done, they go, like, they do these beauty enhancements, you get your lips done and your Botox. And I had to explain to her that, number one, those were always desires of what you had prior. You just weren't in position to do them.
Yeah.
And now that you're in position to do them, you're fulfilling them. And as you fulfill them, you realize that the people behind you that are trying to come up into where you are, they see those things as desire, and they want to emulate that and duplicate that process. So now you have more room to teach them, which makes you more money. So as you continue to elevate and grow, more and more people follow, and that creates the wealth. And so for me, I'm like, the Lamborghini is a business investment. People see me popping out of a Lamborghini. 4 years ago, I was driving for 4 years Rhonda the Honda, and there's nothing wrong with my Rhonda the Honda. She gets me to where I need to go, but it doesn't create and spark that desire for people that spend their money to get the solution. Me having bomb ass curls, people are going to be like, what are you using in your hair? How do you get those curls? They're going to go buy it. Whatever I say, whether it's my product or whether it's something else, they're going to go get it. Like, oh my God, Amanda, your skin is so beautiful. How do you get your skin so flawless? What's your skincare routine, right? People get paid to share their knowledge and their experience. And I'm in the business of selling knowledge. I'm in the business of selling a lifestyle. It's not a luxury. It's a lifestyle. And so if I stop the desire of my own for that building of that lifestyle, all of the people behind me begin to diminish and fall off, because the desire of what I have versus what they want is no longer there.
Yeah.
It's no longer present. Right? If I get fat, sloppy, lose all my money, I let my hair get nasty, I stop taking care of my body or my skin or my attitude or my energy, people are no longer going to want to give me their money to teach them what I know. Understand? Mm-hmm. It's not like a professor where you're just a master of this one topic and everybody comes to your school and they get this knowledge, and you could die as a professor in your 70s giving the same damn knowledge. The lifestyle part of my business requires me to continue to elevate. And I love that for me. I love that about my business.
I don't agree.
Is that it continues to, well, let me finish and then I'm gonna hear you out. It continues to push me into these levels that I used to look at other people and have the desire for. You know how many coaches I've paid? You know how many business coaches I've paid? You know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I have paid to get me to 6 figures at least? And then I hit 6 figures and I'm like, I want to hit 7. Why do I want to hit 7? Because I see what kind of lifestyle you can live at 7. I see how many no's you have to give yourself at 7. There's none. You know what I mean? I see how many times you have to tell your kids no at 7 figures. There's none, unless you choose to. And I want to live my life. I'm going to live my life. I am living my life by my own decisions and deciding what I want to do, when I want to do, how I want to do it. I don't clock in for a boss. I don't answer to anybody. I am the boss. And I've created that lifestyle for myself for that fulfillment. So people see that, they want that, and then it continues to open the door for me to take them from where they're at to where they want to be, and I get paid in the process. So the Lamborghini is something I saw somebody else have, and I was like, damn, that's a really nice car. I really want that. But then, actually, no, it was like, damn, that's a really nice car. I don't give a shit. Remember last time I was on the show, I was like, I drive my Honda. I was all proud. Now, fast forward, I'm like, yo, I see what that Lambo did for their business. Now I want the Lambo.
But what happens is this. Well,
Did it do for their business, or did that?
It did.
No, it did for the business.
It did for the business.
They're selling.
It changes the marketing. It changes it really does.
Okay. No, I was just saying, did it do for their business, or did it just help influence you? Because I love your little speech. I love that you have like a pep talk for yourself and like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, whenever you want something new and it's just like, okay, I'm uplifting myself. I need to better myself because people are looking, and then they're going to want to buy, and they're going to want to know how I got this or how I did that or whatever. I understand it. Did you have to buy the Lamborghini? I'd say no. I think you could have bought anything though.
No. You said influence.
Right.
That's what
Influence
creates
is
the income.
correct.
Is influence.
Right.
So the person that I saw have the Lamborghini, that I saw it dramatically change their business, right? I said, I want to dramatically change mine too. And all I have to do is drive a car that I actually like, that I actually want now. Then I didn't want it. There was no desire for it. But as you're seeing other people enjoy it, and you're seeing other people appreciate it and wash their car, and I'm looking in my backseat, I'm like, there's cookie crumbs and shit. Like, I don't want this car no more. I want a car that I respect and that I love and that I cherish, and that you can't eat in my car. You know, when you have the capability of having something else that you desire versus accepting what it is that you have, you tend to lean into the desire versus stopping at appreciating what you have. I love my car, and I do value and honor my car. However,
I think that's all I wanted to hear you
say. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm grateful. I'm full of gratitude for that car. That car got me here to the table, right? Mm-hmm. However, there's needs, and then there's wants, dreams, and desires. And I am moving into a position in my life and in my business where there's no longer the needs thing is checked off. That's already done.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'm moving into wants, dreams, desires. And those wants, dreams, desires look like a new car or a nice house, right? Like we're sitting in a beautiful studio inside of a beautiful location, and who doesn't want that for themselves? You know what I mean? Like, granted, I have a beautiful house, but the point is, like, we upgraded the house and redid everything from floor to ceiling because we desired to have something nicer that we had the option to be able to get.
Yeah.
But you don't showcase your house,
some
though,
people
do you?
stop, absolutely, all the time. Oh yeah, look at my Instagram.
But you know
Oh yeah, I'm showing off that $70,000 in the kitchen appliances.
So
look at my coffee maker. Starbucks ain't got this.
Starbucks ain't got it. I think it's
this Bosch, bitch.
I think that I mean, this is just a personal opinion. I don't think that, like, there's a big difference between being rich right now and being rich forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that being rich right now sells a lifestyle.
It does.
And it's not, like, I see 1,000 G-Wagons and Lamborghinis and
they're not making money off those cars.
No. They are. The people that I follow, I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying, like, just people.
Just people. Okay,
I'm saying the people that I follow, they're into multi-level marketing. They're into different selling courses and everything. And they're trying to sell their results.
Yeah,
Right? They're
absolutely.
saying, okay, I've gotten this.
Look at what I've achieved. You can have it too.
And I bought this with what I've done.
Right.
Right? But the thing is, what ends up happening is, and I'm seeing it, is within due time, it doesn't speak to your character, which is going to be more important. Now, I'm going to say I'm on your significant other side of it. Not saying not to get the Lamborghini, but to get the Lamborghini for a business growth is where I disconnect with it, right? I think it'd be beautiful if you got it because that's something that you genuinely wanted, not necessarily to try to sell people, because I think that you'll sell to more people if you did what he did by just donating and giving. And not saying that you do. I mean, don't. You know what I'm saying? But you go further when you say, look at what I'm doing with my money. I'm not buying this to sell this to you guys to buy into me. Actually, with the money that you give to me, I actually help donate to charities. I help go down
and
to build a village. Yeah.
And because I do all that, when it comes down to the things, you don't see me walking in here with Dior bags and Chanel shoes and shit. I don't buy shit like that. I really don't. Like, even down to my jewelry has been mostly gifted. I bought myself one nice thing, and that's literally what I'm wearing right now. Like, my necklace, my earrings.
I was about to say,
Yeah. So let me, hold on. Wait, time out. No, hold on, wait, time out. This came from the mall, not where you think it came from. And it cost a little bit, but it definitely didn't cost me $14,000. I don't buy shit like that.
Okay.
Because I don't care about it.
Well, I mean, that would be better than buying a car.
FYI, when you see me, act like you understand you're not going to rob me because you're not getting shit for this. It's real gold, but it's not 18, 24 karat gold. You understand? It's not from I'm not going to Tiffany's. I'm not going to Van Cleef. I'm not doing those things.
But you can't, yeah.
What you mean I can't?
No,
you can.
Oh, I thought you said you can't. I was like, I can, but I don't want to. I don't choose to because that doesn't bring me joy and fulfillment. What brings me joy and fulfillment is I've never driven a new car off a lot ever in my life, and I'm 35 years old. You understand? I want a new car. I could go get a Mercedes or a Honda or a whatever, but my desire is for a big girl car. And if I'm going to spend money on a big girl car, it's going to pay me too. I'm not just going to buy it because it looks good. I'm going to buy it because it's a staple of the
why
people
is that
are
a big girl car? Because it wasn't a big girl car to you 2 years ago.
Oh, it was. It was just unfeasible for me to have then.
Nah, you said you didn't give a shit about it.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is it was still a big girl car. It was like, that's a grown woman car. That's the car you get when you got some money. You can't get that when you don't have no money. 2 years ago, I didn't have that kind of money. This is why I'm also very careful of what I spend my money on. Not just for the people behind me, but for my own idea of what success is. I don't ever want to lose impact over income. You understand? That's at my core. It's who I am. I impact people. I help them grow. I help them develop. And what they decide to do with their money is up to them. I can only influence. And I don't buy those things because I don't want people to think, oh, I got me a rich man, I'm going into Chanel. Or I got me a rich man, I'm going to get a Dior bag. If I can't,
but the thing
look,
is,
I'm impactful right now. Like I said, I just submitted a couple $100 in votes. I'll show you right now on my phone. I swear to God. Submitted a couple $100 in votes for one of my students to win the Mommy of the Year thing, right? Dropped a couple hundred. I even messaged in the group. I said, ladies, if y'all round up another $100, I'll match it. You understand?
But these are your students?
Yeah.
Do they pay to be your student?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just an ROI. So like what I'm trying to say is, what I'm saying is you have to, I'm not saying you have to.
It's not the ROI. The ROI comes from what I teach them how to build for themselves.
No, but I'm
it
saying
doesn't come
you're
from
giving,
me giving them.
It's not a charitable thing.
Hold on.
If you're giving
It is
right
a charitable
back to
thing. It is a charitable thing. Anytime you take out of your pocket to sow a seed into somebody else's growth or success or
but they
endeavors,
put it into your pocket.
That's irrelevant because that's not the only way. I'm just using that as an example right now. You won't see me going into the grocery store and dropping $2,000 on people's groceries in the store because I don't film that shit. That's for my own spiritual fulfillment. Because why? I don't do that for the gram. I don't do that for social media.
Why not do it?
I do that for myself.
But this is my problem.
And my kids, actually. I took my kids with me and we gave back.
People will rather go and buy a Lamborghini and spend $2,500, $3,000 a month just to make you buy into them, but won't go out and showcase what really brings themselves real fulfillment and real joy, which is actually helping the people who can't afford groceries.
So let me pause you for a second, right? Because now we're talking emotion versus business.
That's a better business.
No. You're wrong. Because you could showcase that shit all day long. You know what people will say? They
Why
will
did
drag
you film
you.
this?
They will tell you that why, if you're really sincere about giving back to people, why are you filming it?
Yeah, of
why are
course.
you putting it on the gram?
But does
why
the engagement still go?
No,
You said,
no, stop. We're not talking about engagement.
Yes,
we're talking about
because
we're talking about the money that rolls
who would say
in.
something
One at
crazy.
a time. One at a time, people.
But wait, you're the same person who would say something crazy with the intent to drive engagement.
Yeah.
And will get dragged, right? But you know that at the end of the day, you're going to utilize that and turn it into something good.
Because that's business.
Who's one of the biggest influencers on Instagram? His name is Mr. Thank You. What does he do?
Oh, yeah.
What does he do?
He gives back.
That's all he does.
But he gives back with other people's money.
I don't know him.
What do you mean?
He literally
Borrow money?
No, he literally takes donations from people, and that's the money that he sows back into people.
Okay, so this is kind of you donating from your own business. What I'm trying to say is
No,
that
it's not the same thing, Rico.
what I'm saying is that the art of giving back and getting the real fulfillment and joy on people's faces will always go further than the 10.
And you can teach them that
You're
when they
talking
get
about
in the door.
1,000 comments versus 50,000 likes, right? the 1,000 comments who are dragging you, but you got 50,000 likes and you got 2 million or 100 or 1 million views. There's more people that are supporting you than those little bitty comments that you're seeing because you wanted to give back. Now, guess what? On that Lamborghini that we've all seen from many other people, you're going to get, let's just say, if we do views, likes, engagement, and then
I don't care about any of that.
and then customers,
I don't
right?
care about any of
Consumers.
that. The only thing that I care about is not the people that are already signed up with me because they know the vibes.
Yeah.
They know the deal.
You want to get them new.
It's the people that are coming in, and what gets them to, it's the same reason why McDonald's puts a billboard in the hood. They're trying to get you to go to the McDonald's and buy the food. I'm trying to get you to come here and buy the food so I could really feed you. So I could feed your spirit, so I could feed you mentally, so I could feed you emotionally, so I can evolve you from where you're at with this petty desire of these material things.
But you're selling me with material things.
It doesn't matter.
You can't tell me that.
It's like going to church. The thing about the car, right, and why this is a relevant piece is because marketing is the key to a successful business. I'm not in the business of selling people. I'm in the business of telling people about what I can do for them, what I can offer them. You understand? So the marketing is the key to getting people in the door. Once they're in the door, you can change their lives. It's just like church. You can go to church every Easter and now you're saved and now you change your whole life around because somebody got you in the door because it's Easter. Easter was the front. Easter was the marketing. Easter was the face of it. So we could get pretty, go to church, Palm Sunday, all of that. But once you're here, now this is where God works. This is where God moves. This is where, all of those outside things peel back. The Lamborghini stays parked in the lot and you come in naked as who you are. And now you get to decide, like, what are my dreams? What are my desires? How do I want to impact people? And as long as the money continues to flow in, I can continue to impact people in that major way. As long as I continue to get the platforms, I can continue to say the viral shit that brings people in the door, that gets them here. And once they're here, completely, like, y'all better Google me for real. Like,
No, I get what you're saying, but I think
y'all gotta Google me for
Rico-
real. Like, I'm really changing lives out here. And it's because of that forward marketing. I am a marketing genius. I have mastered social media marketing at its finest. I've created my own algorithm. And because of it, now when one of my students have a fire, I can rehome her. I couldn't do that last year.
All right, I have a lot to say, but I'm just not going to say it right now.
I think the point was just that the views, the likes, the everything,
Which is all marketing,
matters.
by the way.
It's
Like-
marketing. So all of that does matter when you're buying a Lamborghini for business to get
Views
people.
and the likes don't matter. What
The
matters
engagement.
is
That's where you were saying.
even the
right?
engagement. You know how many students I have that never follow my page, like my shit?
It's the consumers. I get it.
It's
Yeah.
the consumption of it. So when people see it and the desire is created, they'll slide in my DM and never follow my page. You understand? They'll slide in my DM. They'll sign up to work with me because they're like, damn, I see where you came from. It's also the journey. It's not just like, look at me out here showboating in a Lambo. It's like, yo, I was living in a backyard that was a cemetery and my cabinets didn't match in my kitchen, and I was selling food stamps to keep my lights on. And I went from that to where I'm at now in 4.5 years. That's the story that gets sold. And this is the realization of the dream that people are inspired by, that are like, damn, I could do that too.
I think that it's safe to say that
I need you to start this voiceover again.
No, so
I was about to say hi,
I think that it's safe to say that, everybody has their own methods and ways of doing things. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck and success. Now, thank you guys for received. Great. And I hope everything works out with you in your relationship as well.
Received.
And actually, I want to ante up and say, once you figure it out, I'll speak it into existence.
Appreciate that.
That's going to be where you really should be marketing, because getting the process is okay, but
it will. The longevity is the real.
Easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeping something is hard.
No, I agree with you on that one. High five, friend.
Yeah, and if you would like to, close out with, your Instagram, which they may already know, but reiterate it, and anything that you got coming up.
Absolutely. So you can find me on all platforms at Sweet2Elite. And I have so many things coming up. All I'm going to ask is that you stay tuned, stay tapped in, take a look at the stories, watch the moves that I'm making, and decide if those moves are what you want in your life. And if they are, come and find me and I'll help you get there.
Thank you for watching 8 at the Table. Tune in next time. Keep on liking, subscribing. There's a bunch of different ways that you could show support, and we're expecting it. I'm not going to lie to you. There's YouTube memberships. There's a bunch of different subscriptions that you can do. There's Datebox as well. Find a way to support us so we can appreciate you some more.
Definitely.